Hey, it's Spooky Boo, Boo Roads, whatever. Whatever I am today, right? No, I've noticed that people are subscribing to this channel. Wait, I'm going to move my mic. It might be loud. There we go. I've noticed that people are subscribing to this specific channel, and this is just kind of a dump area for things that I want to save or keep later, or when I'm gaming, I kind of come here and play. I don't get a chance to game much. In a year, I'll be able to because I'll be retired from a lot of things and I'll be able to spend a lot more time being alone. So, what am I going to do with this? I don't really do anything with this. Maybe I'll start a vlog. I don't know why I'd start a vlog. A couple of things. If you like scary stories, go down in the description below and subscribe to Scary Story Time, which are fiction stories, typically creepypastas. I do write some of them, but a lot of them are done by other authors because I love sharing their stories with you. There's so many talented writers that never get seen, and I don't know, just by maybe putting the word out there for them, they other people can find out who they are. And then there's Midnight Monsters, which is a live radio show that you can listen to. You can call in your stories. Typically, I'll have a guest, one or two guests, maybe more, for the first hour, and then I'll open up the phone lines for 2 hours after that. If you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter, it's a basic $12 a year, just $1, starting at $1 a month. And then there's different features if you pay more. You can find that at patreon.com/spookyboo scary story time. Do I have any other channels? No. All of my stuff is also available on podcasts. In fact, I prefer people listen to it on podcasts because I don't do a lot of face reveals or anything like that. And I don't know. I mean, why watch something if there's no video? Why don't you just put the headphones on, listen to the podcast? I guess you can do the same to the video too, but I prefer really that people listen to my podcast. It's easier to subscribe to whatever. But if you're looking for text and you're looking for info about me and looking for info about what I do, go to the two websites, Scary Story Time or MidnightMonstersRadio.com. And you'll see a whole new world of stuff. If you're a writer and you want to submit something for me to read, you can do that at scarystorytime.com. There's a submissions page. You just sign in as yourself, and then you create an account, and then you get that. Also, that also has the newsletter, part of the newsletter for the Patreon thing. My newsletter is fun. I have a couple of quirky things like a horoscope. That's a satire horoscope, but it's called Horoscope, and a lot of other fun things to watch and listen to. There's not much to tell. I'm not exactly a goth chick. I love goth things, but I don't walk around. I guess I do wear black a lot. Never mind. I wear black a lot, but I don't do like the frilly skirts and the things. It's usually just like leggings and a t-shirt. I have no reason to wear pretty frilly things because I'm always chasing my kids around who are all boys, so whatever. But you know, I always wear black. One day it was funny. I went to one of my son's football games, and one of the other moms was there, and I wore a green shirt instead of a black shirt, I guess. And she said, "Oh, you're not wearing black." I thought that was funny. Like, I guess not. I mean, I do wear other things, but I wear black so much that people don't notice that I wear other colors. It's just easier for me to wear black. I don't know. I have dark hair. It matches better. Oh, and guys that wear black, oh, black eyeliner on a guy is like, oh my god. Anyway, I'll get off that topic. Um, mm, I don't have anything else to say. I see people subscribing to this. Maybe they're looking for Spooky Boo, but this isn't the Scary Story channel. This isn't where I tell scary stories or anything. You're going to need to find Spooky Boo Scary Story Time to listen to the stories I tell. So if you're here, you're just going to get a lot of random stuff. As you can see, I have a video in my backyard, the fire pit my boys made me, and gaming and other things. I do play WoW. I don't have time to play WoW right now, and this machine is just so overloaded with crap. I share this computer with my son. I'm getting one in a few days. A friend of mine's going to give me a computer, but this computer is my son's computer because mine died. And it's so overloaded with Steam games and crap that I can't even play any of my own games on it. So I haven't played anything in a long time. I'm actually a WoW player. I have a couple of WoW accounts. And they're scattered all over the place, just like my scatterbrain. I start a character, and then I just kind of I start a tune, whatever the hell they're called, and then I just go on to something else. And I play games. I don't have time to sink my life into a game. And many of those games takes hours and hours and hours to play. And I'm so busy with everything else and my business. I have a business. I'm so busy with business and work and my channels and podcasts and kids and football. I'm a football mom. This is my last year being a football mom. Oh, so sad. I love all those years going to the games, but I'm just so busy. I don't have time to game, which is really sad because I love gaming. I've been gaming since I was a little kid. I'm terrible at it. So if you ever see me on Steam or see me on WoW or something, you're going to go, God, Spooky Boo, you suck. And I do. I suck at gaming, but it's mainly because I don't get to play that often. I don't know what else. Oh, you know what? If you're into the horror hive, if you're into the horror stories, I also belong to a group called Horror Hive. And it's a group of a bunch of different talented people into the horror genre that, writers and narrators and artists and everybody. And we just all put our efforts together and voila, create something. Yeah, they don't have to be new things. There's sometimes I put my old stuff on there only because I don't have time right now. But once I have more time, I'll be able to do it. And also, CreepyPastaCon is being planned in January, not January. What am I saying January for? I don't even know what the month will be, but it's in the year 2020. So they're calling it CreepyPastaCon 2020. It's not just something where they're putting together where a couple of people get together and talk about creepypasta. No, they're planning this like I suppose a Comic Con or a horror con or whatever. And it's going to be really cool, but it's going to be on the East Coast apparently, so I may or may not be able to be there. But I'll be there in spirit, and I'll support them online, do what I can. I don't know, 2020, I might be able to make it to the East Coast. Maybe. So I have 4 cats, and somebody has to feed them. And by that time, I might have a horse. So I'd have to hire somebody to come and take care of my animals. And I really trust nobody with my animals. So I don't even know where I'm going to be living because I'm going to move by then. And maybe Texas, maybe Arizona. I don't know. I want someplace hot and not in the hills. I love the hills. I love the hills so much. I love the foresty hills. I grew up around that kind of thing in California. You know, we have the coastal mountains and they're to the west of us. And, you know, we always go out there, we drive through them to get to the coast. And I love that. But you know what? There are so many fires and I've had it with that. I'm done with that. You know, I lived my life. I got to live that. I'm lucky that I was born here in California, you know, because I, I was a part of the wineries. I was a part of the coast. I was a part of the beautiful scenery and hills. And recently, for some reason, and personally, I think it's some terrorist asshole, but, you know, recruiting people and making them do shit. But it could be anything. I mean, it's careless people, but there's so many of them that there's got to be something going on. You know, we just had one over the hill that I was terrified that would come over here. I'm like terrified of fire, by the way. I don't know why. I've never been in one. But my hometown parts of it were obliterated by a fire last year. And I just, ever since then, you know, and it gave me asthma. And ever since then, I'm just like, even though I live 90 miles away from there now, I sat there and watched it and everything. I mean, I got text messages of people, Facebook messages of people at 3:00 in the morning who were driving down the hill from the, you know, the mountains. There are more hills than mountains, but driving down because their house was burning down on fire and they were driving through it and picking people up along the way. I mean, it was horrifying, absolutely horrifying to watch this unfold. So it was not cool. So I want to move away from the fire areas, but I don't want to live in the snow. I hate snow with a very severe passion. I do not like the cold. I am a hot weather girl. I've grown up in hot weather. I do love coastal fog. Maybe I'll just move to the coast. But it's parts of the year it's kind of too cold at the coast. So I don't know. But I just want to be away from the fires and the cold. No fires, no cold. So the desert is a good place because the fires are usually like way out there. And if you have a house, you can do whatever to protect the area because there's no big trees by your house, or I don't know how that works. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, don't mind me. Tears my eyes thinking about what happened last October. It just kills me. So, none of my friends died, thank God. Not that I know of. I mean, I know a lot of people, but nobody that I was really close with did. But they did lose their homes, which is painful hearing all the stories and the animals and shit, and you know, and then the ones in Los Angeles, the people with horse barns who didn't let the horses go for one reason or another. I cannot handle that because I'm a horse lover. You know, I grew up with horses and riding them and stuff. So, I was a very lucky person growing up. It's not luck. My dad worked his butt off. He didn't come from a wealthy family. You know, he went to school. He went to college. It wasn't what people like to call privilege these days. It wasn't privilege. He worked his ass off. He worked through college. He had a job while he went to college and got his degree, and he was married. They got married at 18, and he worked his rear end off. And, you know, it's not privilege. He worked hard for what he had. And then he got a basic job, and I think he had one job all his life. Except for the, you know, the part-time college things. But when he moved out to California and got married and went to school and all that, I'm not even sure how all that worked out, but I do know that he worked through college, and my mom worked too, and they saved money, and then they had kids, and Then finally, you know, they were able to buy houses at decent prices. Now it's ridiculous. The house we lived in just, I mean, it sold for like 3 million, but of course not when we lived there. When we lived there, it was only a couple $100,000, but it was huge. It was a huge ranch house when they got divorced and sold it. Anyway, you don't want to hear that, but um, he worked his ass off. So this privilege shit that people talk about, there's no privilege in that. What you do is if at a certain age, you work your butt off. Don't give anybody excuses. Don't marry somebody who's going to sit around on his ass all day and do nothing like I did. You just work hard. I worked hard for years, gaining all of this experience so that I can run these podcasts and work with web servers and do all that stuff. I know all that stuff because I worked my butt off learning that on my own. Yeah, I went to school for computer science, but they didn't teach me all this other stuff. I learned this stuff on my own. They just taught me the basics of how to do things. So if you're young and you're making excuses to why you're not successful or why this or that's happening, you know, maybe you're saying, oh, I'm not a guy, it's not going to work for me, or oh, I'm this race, or I'm this religion, or I'm this cult, or I'm this, that, this, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to accept me. You know what? You're just making excuses. You're just making excuses. What you do is put down your prejudices about other people and yourself and do it. Learn to love other people, even if they're different from you, and just do it. That's what my mother taught me. My mother is a beautiful, God-fearing Christian woman who hates no one. And, you know, she doesn't agree with a lot of the things people do. And she thinks they're sins and all this stuff. But, you know, she says, don't hate the person because they're people. And she's just a beautiful person. I love my mother. So anyway, but you know, don't make excuses. Just go out there and kick ass. Don't burn people from behind. Don't stab them in the back. Go out there and find your talent or your skill and do it. Don't blame society for your problems. Don't blame people. Don't blame history for your problems or anything like that. Don't blame anything. Supposedly, my family comes from, you know, a long line of Plantagenet royalty over in England and all this stuff. And well, maybe not. I mean, I can't think of his name. William Marshall, first Earl of Pembroke, wasn't a wealthy man, but he kicked ass. And he learned how to fight, and he learned how to be a knight, and he learned all that stuff. He wasn't handed things on a silver platter. He learned it all on his own and kicked ass. And that's one of my great-grandfathers, supposedly. The stories have been told from generation to generation, and then Ancestry.com confirmed it. So, you know, he wasn't royalty, but he married into it eventually because he was a kick-ass guy. And, you know, coming down from there, we've had generals, and there's one guy in Virginia that was on my dad's side, the Pembroke thing's on my mother's side, and my dad's side, the Ruckers had tons of land, and none of us got it. On my mother's side, there was a general that was also state senator, and he had tons of land, owned most of Tennessee, and then none of us got it because he gave it all away. So here we are, broke and happy, right? But I'm serious. One day it'll come for you. I've had ups and downs. I've had jobs that paid tons of money, and I've had jobs that paid shit. Most of the jobs that paid shit were when I was learning and up and coming. And that's the way it should be. If you're expecting to go out and work at McDonald's and then own a $300,000 home, that is not going to happen for you. Unless you're, building a business on the side and business takes off. You McDonald's is a starter job. It's not a career. And I'm so sick and tired of these people thinking that McDonald's or Walmart or whatever is going to be the career job. It's not. It's a starter job. Think higher, think better. If people stopped complaining about the money they're making and aspired to make more later in life, there would be so many people who are happier. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I always try to avoid getting political, but I do one way or another. So this channel is just a random channel. If you're subscribing to it, subscribe to Scary Story Time or Midnight Monsters if you're looking for the scary stuff, the paranormal stuff. On here, you're going to find videos of my cats and dogs and kids. And no, I'm not going to show my kids on YouTube. Not usually, because you know what, they're older now, so it's not a big deal. I'll probably show my kids, but some of them are in my videos and on the pictures that the thumbnails for YouTube. One of them's a black-eyed kid. Ooh. But if you're here to subscribe for any scary, spooky stuff, it's usually not going to happen here. You're going to find that on the other channels. This is just a, hey, what are you doing? Kind of chit chat. And maybe I'll start doing live broadcasts here. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this one so we can just do a vlog and how things are going. I don't think anybody really gives a shit. Nobody ever watches this stuff. But I don't do YouTube much anymore because they screwed me. So they did it to a lot of horror channels, and I'm still waiting for my AdSense for Scary Story Time. Midnight Monsters doesn't have enough, and I totally get why they don't want to advertise on really super small channels that have like 10 people. I understand that. And I understand that some advertisers don't want to advertise on channels that have controversial things. However, there is an audience out there for everybody. And if YouTube just put a little bit of time into figuring out what advertisers work for what channels like they do on TV, then, TV and radio have all kinds of advertisers for their stuff. You can go on TV and find Criminal Minds, which has bloodier things than anything I've seen on YouTube sometimes. And it's like they have tons of advertisers. Lots of horror movies on TV have lots of advertisers. So they're out there. I just don't think YouTube's putting enough effort into breaking down the advertisers. They just want to do it the easy way because they don't want to monitor anything. That's pretty much it. They think everybody's going to go to the extreme. So one bad apple sits there and does something stupid, like laugh at people in a haunted graveyard, which is horrible. Or, another one does something extremely inappropriately and sexual on his thing and says things about people that are wrong. And then they're going to expect everybody that has a different kind of channel that are going to act like that. And no, don't let these guys, some of these guys are still racking in the dough, but they screwed it for everybody else. Hello. But I hit the 240,000 mark on my Spooky Boo Scary Story Time channel. So I'm just waiting to see whether or not YouTube approves that. If they do, if they allow me to keep up the monetization, I have plans. I have cool plans to make really cool backyard videos of horror things. I have actors and stuff. They're going to do some fun stuff. We're just going to have a blast. Unfortunately, I accidentally stepped on one of the little skulls that I got from an owl pellet that I was going to use in the video. Now I have to wait for the owl to regurgitate some more rat heads. But That was a really gross event trying to get all that fur and gut stuff off of those skulls. So I have to do it again. Pray that she barfs up some more. I know it's a she because she has eggshells in her under her tree. But that's what YouTube's about, is being creative like that. So I'm doing my own videos and my own stuff. I don't have a great camera, but I love making my own background videos. And I've been doing that for a little while now. I see that other people are starting to do it now because they realize that they have to be different and they have to be creative. And that's fine. I have competition now. Suddenly I do something and other people start doing it, but whatever. And they have bigger channels than mine. I doubt if it was me, they probably came up with the idea too, because people are getting screwed. So, off my soapbox, I gotta go. I gotta upload something to Horror Hive now, and I have or send it to the administrator who he can upload it. But I have other things to do. Midnight Monsters, call in your scary stories Sunday night at 9 p.m. We have lots of great guests coming up. We have a Black Eyed Kid story this weekend. Somebody telling you he's got 3 Black Eyed Kid events in his life, and he just tells a story. And then people can call in and tell their Black Eyed Kid stories after that. And then the next weekend, we're probably going to have a medium on there who talks about my friend's son. He passed away in a horrific car accident a few years ago. And she might answer questions of other people. So, it's going to be great. It's going to be a fun show, and I want everybody to call in and have fun. There's a phone number attached to it. Just check out Midnight, what is it? midnightmonstersradio.com to get that information on how to call in. I want to be like the next door bell. I want to kick ass. I want to be like, oh my gosh, now here is this person. I mean, I'll take conspiracy theories. If you think the earth is flat, I don't think the earth is flat, by the way, but I mean, I know the earth isn't flat. Okay. If you think the earth is flat, call in and tell people. But when you do that, I'm tired of arguing with people about it and telling them why we have proof and what the proof is. Because when I say, oh, we have proof, and then they turn around, they look at you and they say, no, NASA's faking it. It's like, come on, you can't argue with that. NASA's not faking it, for one thing. I have friends who work there. I have a friend who helped design the ISS. So you can't tell me that these are lies because I know these people. But anyway, I have a friend who worked on the space shuttle that everybody thinks, or his dad worked on the space shuttle, that everybody thinks was fake. Not everybody, but these conspiracy theorists think was fake, and it's not fake, but they think it is. So they think that they pretended to blow up that space shuttle in, like, when was it, like 86? Anyway, no, I watched it on TV. My friend's dad, worked for a contractor at the time that sold the parts. He either worked for NASA or the contractor at the time that sold the parts. I haven't talked to him in so long, I don't remember. But, the kids that were crying because their teacher blew up, don't make that trivial. It's like all the people that say all the gun shootings are fake, Now, I don't know if someone put these kids up to it. They're on meds. They could be controlled somehow, but I mean, I'm open to that, but they're definitely not fake. Don't trivialize these lives of the people that suffer from the loss of their friends and family because you want to make up a conspiracy theory. Okay. The last one in Florida with that kid that, what was it, Parkland? Yeah, there was a lot of really weird things with that one. And a lot of the sheriff was a dumbass and all these weird things happened with it when he could have been taken out immediately. And the sheriff just sat there and his guys just sat. Why did they just sit there? But there's lots of weird things about that, but it really did happen. It's not just some fake event that the media is putting out there. Don't trivialize people like that. That's horrible. Anyway, and yes, I do believe in our Second Amendment rights, and don't even try and take that away from me. So I probably have there's probably somebody listening saying, oh yeah, she doesn't like guns. Oh no, 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 no. I do. I believe in defending my family and property and country and everything. And you're not going to take that right from me, but I think something needs to be done about the medications these kids are on. Definitely. They've all been depressed one time or another. They all had some sort of, enter the acronym here, disease. They call it disease or mental disorder or whatever. You know what? We used to lock these people up that had these things, and they don't do that anymore. They don't even consider all these things mental illnesses that are going on that are mental illnesses. And then they think they can just give a person a pill and send them off on their merry way. And hello, in 20 years, you're going to have a lot of messed up people out there. But what do I know? I'll be living in a little hut somewhere by myself, just broadcasting. I do fear for my kids, though. They're going to have families and stuff in 20 years. Hopefully sooner than that. Anyway, I got to get off my soapbox. So go to midnightmonstersradio.com or scarystorytime.com. Scarystorytime.com is fiction. Usually there's some true stories on there, but when I tell them they're on scarystorytime.com, midnightmonstersradio.com is a show where people can call in and tell their stories. October, we already have 2 guests set up for Halloween. After Dark Paranormal is on the 28th, and Jim Harold Campfire is on the 7th. And then we have people lined up before then. So if you have a paranormal show or something, you can line something up during that Sunday, every Sunday, and you can line something up and be on the show. It'd be fun. So hit me up. I'm on Facebook, Midnight Monsters or Spooky Boo Scary Story Time on my pages. You can hit me up there. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.